Hello, welcome back to the Religion of Good Project. My name is Ivan, and today I'm going to be talking about a thought I had about being a spiritual warrior. Now, this is a term that gets batted around a lot, and I don't feel that I'm necessarily an expert on it because different people seem to mean different things by it. But one thing that troubles me is that I see a lot of people these days just being the most incredible jerks, you know? It's like, and people seem to use this concept of the spiritual warrior, and they sort of go, oh, goody, I can be a spiritual warrior. I'm going to hurt the enemies of, whatever, spirit, or whatever they think they're doing. And this, to me, seems like the total wrong way around. Doesn't seem spiritual at all. It seems like an excuse. It's a rationalization. It's no better than fighting a holy war or something like that. If, people you disagree with somebody, or if, some other group of people has some different way of thinking about things than you do or yours does, then you talk with them. You don't, wage some sort of spiritual warfare against them. In fact, it's a little bit of a creepy term for me when people use it that way, because I happen to know that a lot of some of the real, right-wing evangelical types, the sort of creepy types. There's good evangelical Christians out there, okay, but there's some creepy ones. And that they're talk about waging spiritual warfare against, non-Christians, which to me is kind of like a throwback to, I don't know, Middle Ages or something, but it's just weird. It's really very disturbing. So I was thinking about how I took Aikido, which is probably one of the most spiritual martial arts out there. And it was actually founded by, I believe, a Shinto priest. It's founded by Morihei Ueshiba, and I believe he was a Shinto priest, and he also practiced Zen Buddhism. So if anything's spiritual warrior, it seems like Aikido would be the thing. And I was realizing after I took Aikido, I never had to use it. And I thought, why don't I have to use it? Because there's something about taking a martial art that people don't mess with you. I don't know why, but for some reason, it's like once you take it, you don't have to use it, because people sort of can tell something about you that you're prepared to use it. Now, Aikido is a completely non-violent martial art. It is never meant to be used to hurt other people, sort of, rain, some sort of justice, wrath of God kind of stuff down on them. That's not spirituality. That's, it's not up to us to judge others or to bring some sort of, I don't know what, wrath down upon them. That's not even justice. I mean, justice is by definition where you have courts and you have, fairness and everything. It's if you just decide that somebody else is guilty and you have a right to hurt them, that's the exact opposite of what justice is. Justice is in place to keep us from just fighting blood feuds with each other, or just murdering each other and stuff like that. So then I thought, if being a physical martial artist means trying to avoid getting in fights, and that one of the things that happens when you study the martial arts to learn how to not to get in fights is that nobody wants to fight with you because they sense something about you. It makes me wonder if a spiritual warrior is something altogether different from what the sort of, fire and brimstone kind of flaming sort of God kind of people who take justice into their own hands spiritually and kind of think that they can somehow bring the wrath of God down on people when they're not God. Who are they to make that call? Maybe being a spiritual warrior actually means that if you've done the spiritual work to be somebody who is nonviolent, but also somebody who is prepared to kind of go out there and do good and do the right thing, and act out of love and kindness and compassion, which is never easy. I mean, we always fail sometimes. But if we kind of like hone, as it were, the kind of our art of sort of bringing spirituality with us out into the world and just being good people, bringing goodness out. And see, in Aikido, you redirect the attack energy, the negative or offense energy of the attack, and ground it. And so maybe it's sort of more like we're prepared to take that in and not turn it into some sort of big fight or showdown at high noon, but instead redirect that energy, ground that energy, and remain in a state of peace, so that we have contributed zero violent energy to that situation, so that the only violent energy is coming from the attacker. And I'm not talking about physical fights here. I'm talking about toxic interchanges. People yell at each other and they're jerks and they're nasty. Maybe being the one in the room who refuses to be a jerk, that's being a spiritual warrior. And maybe when we learn to master that, people don't tend to be jerks to us. All right, that's all I've got for today. So, blessings to all of you out there, and I'll see you in another video.